We have yet another wild weekend upcoming in the SEC, including six major matchups, including two that happened last night. We had Georgia and Arkansas, game one, and Auburn and Florida, game one. We've got Ole Miss, Tennessee, as well as Alabama and Texas, just to name a few. We are going to be diving into all of those matchups coming up on this edition of the Stingray Show on the Fried Bologna Fun Friday edition of the Stingray Show. We're going to get you ready for the wild weekend in college baseball.
Hi, this is Tim Brando with a reminder. Look out, you're about to feel the buzz of Stingray.
This is Stephen Ray, aka Stingray, coming to you live from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
I'm Heath Hopkins. I'm here in DeSoto County, Mississippi, right outside of Memphis, Tennessee. You know, Mark, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you feel that responsibility to pay it forward and give some kid a chance coming up in the ranks, kind of like Tony did for you?
Why do you think I'm talking to Stingray tonight?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
No, I mean, look, no.
Heath, Stingray, here's the deal. When you get involved with Texas, it's like getting married to a stripper. and let me explain this. It looks good. It's kind of sexy on the surface. Yeah. But then you get the baggage, you get the drama, you get all that eventually comes with it. And that's what you get with Texas, and that's what the Big 12 learned.
And Heath, any thoughts on our show moving forward?
Hey, with the Stingray Show, if you don't like it, you better learn to love it, because it's the best show going today, baby. Woo!
And with that, I want to welcome you inside the Friday edition of the Stingray Show. And like I said, off the top of the show, we actually have two of the matchups that happened last night. One of them, Georgia and Arkansas. The other one was Auburn and Florida. Here to help us break down all of the other matchups this weekend and to do a review of game one of the Hogs and Dogs and Tigers and the Gators. Here is Chris Lee of Southeastern 16 and from Vandy 247. Chris, how are things with you outside of Nashville, Tennessee?
Good day, sir. Always good to have your own personal meteorologist to keep you out of danger. You may know something about that. We had some wild weather here last night in the Nashville area. So
yes, yeah. Man, I'm glad that you guys are okay up there in Nashville.
Yeah. We had some bursts of very strong wind. I saw it knock down about a 40-foot tree while I was pulling into our driveway. So yeah, it was crazy.
Gotcha. So, Chris, let's go ahead and talk about, please, the two games one that happened last night of Georgia, Arkansas, and then Auburn and Florida. Give us your recap of both of those, please.
Yeah, Arkansas has had really consistent pitching from Hunter Dietz, who's become their one. He was great again last night. Gabe Gackle was fine in relief. Ethan McIlvain closed him out. So Arkansas's pitching faltered a little bit last week, but came back just in time for a Georgia team that's super dangerous, leads the country in home runs. On the Florida side, Aiden, I want to say Aiden Sims. That's the guy from A&M. Aiden King is Florida's Friday night guy. He was really good. Florida's bullpen was good again, and that kind of carried the Gators against an Auburn team where the offense has been hit and miss. It had kind of come back last weekend against Kentucky, but that might be maybe a product of Kentucky's pitching as much as anything.
So far this season, and as of the last few weeks, what is a team or who is a team that has really surprised you and come out of nowhere?
I don't think in the SEC anybody comes out of nowhere. Georgia's been better than I thought. I just wasn't as sure about the pitching. A&M I just didn't know how it was going to go after last year. A&M's been terrific. I had them number one in my personal power rankings last week. I don't think their pitching's good enough to stay there, but after the week they had, I put them there. Mississippi State losing 6 in a row in the conference is a surprise, but I still think that's a really good team. There's a thing in baseball called pipe bag win percentage, which is how many runs do you score, how many runs do you give up, and what's your winning percentage based on that. I adjust that for run rule games because there's so many. State's still number one in that category, so I think there's an outstanding team in there. They're going without Ryan McPherson. So nothing, I guess, has shocked me because I think the league is super competitive, and in baseball, sometimes you go through runs of great fortune and bad fortune, and that just happens. But those are some things, if I had to pick, I would single out.
Well, Heath left. Obviously, he's having internet issues up there. So let's go ahead and talk about the Vanderbilt Commodores, the other team that you cover for Vandy 247. If you would, please break down Vanderbilt so far and the game that they have upcoming this weekend.
Yeah, Vanderbilt has just had troubles finding pitching. It has given up more runs per 9 innings than any school in the conference. It's had injuries to its best pitcher, who's done for the year. Vandy's already down its ace in Austin Nye, who pitched 10 innings and I think didn't give up an earned run. We won't see him again this year. Miller Green, who was supposed to be their best lefty, did not come back till last week. He's thrown, I think, 2 or 3 innings so far. He's going to help them. Aiden Stillman, their best freshman, maybe behind Jack Bauer at Mississippi State and Cam Appenzeller at Tennessee, maybe the highest-rated freshman in the conference coming in by the draft gurus a year ago. He just started pitching a week ago, and it's not gone well. So maybe as he gets used to it, it helps. But the pitching has really stung them, though the hitting has been there. Right. Vanderbilt, I think, is second in the conference in home runs, and so that's kept it in ball games and won Vanderbilt several ball games. But the pitching is not up to Vanderbilt standards. And we're going to see down the stretch whether Vanderbilt, as it gets healthier, can get there or not.
Gotcha.
Chris, looking at the SEC as a whole, we're in the second half of the season here, and we're starting to see guys get extended a little bit more, starters get extended a little bit more. And that's a give and take because arms give out at the end of the season, especially in postseason, especially on the road to Omaha and in Omaha. Who is taxing their starters the most? Who's leaving them out there a little too much because the bullpen's not ready yet and they're trying to squeeze in some SEC wins? We saw it with Cops a couple of years ago with Arkansas. He just pitched too much and his arm just went dead there in the regional. Well, we've seen this a million times from a million arms. There's multiple SEC teams every year. What SEC teams have been putting their pitchers out there, their starting pitchers out there a little too long?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to say too much. I don't have the access to information that the coaches do, and that's a great point. I think you're asking a tremendous question. I will tell you the places, and I'm just looking at the pitching rotations, where you're seeing guys go lengthy stints. Auburn with Butch Thompson is doing that a lot. But they've been great so far. Jake Marciano has started to crack a little bit, but that was just one start, so we'll see how it goes against Florida tonight. Alabama is a school that's had all of its guys out there all year. I don't know that they've overextended anybody, but they have, all 3 of their starters, I think, have taken the ball on a weekend turn. Tyler Fahler is probably going to throw in a career-high in innings. That's one to watch. I think one where you're seeing some interesting stuff is Texas. Another one where the starters have been the same all year. Dylan Volantis will get the ball on the Friday game for them. He's been pitching in the Sunday spot. But Ruger Riojas, who's been in the one, has really had a couple of really rough outings in a row. Now, one of the lineups he faced was Texas A&M, which is as good a lineup as there is in the country. Another one he faced, which was South Carolina, is the worst in the league. So that's one I'm keeping an eye on. That's one where workload got to him a year ago. Be interested to see what happens at LSU and Evans and Schmidt. The reason I'm having trouble and going so long with your answer is that there's been more guys that are going deeper into starts this year. Yeah. Across the board. You're seeing Sunday guys go into the 6th and 7th innings or sometimes more than that. Yeah. That's just not something we're used to in this era of baseball. So I think there's a lot of teams that sort of fit that category of starters that are throwing an unusual amount of innings for what we've become used to. And how does that go from here? I don't have the first idea.
Chris, let's talk about another matchup, and it's right there above my head, and it is two teams that are coming in off of losses. Alabama got swept by Arkansas, and Texas lost the series and could have been, if they hadn't got rained out and canceled, could have been swept by A&M. Now they face one another. Alabama in Austin to take on Texas. Break that game down, please.
I think Alabama ran into a rough matchup with Florida's pitching last week. Alabama's most productive hitters are right-handed right now. Now that LeBron is just not hitting, he's having that issue where what he does out of conference and what he does in conference are two different things. But they ran into a Florida staff last week that is predominantly
Arkansas?
right-handed.
You mean Arkansas?
Yeah. I'm sorry. They ran into an Arkansas staff that had a bunch of lefties. That's what I mean to get at. And a lot of Alabama's most productive hitters right now are lefties. So thank you for correcting me there. Texas just ran into an A&M offense as a buzzsaw. I mean, 1 to 9, those guys all hit. They got dudes on the bench who hit.
Yeah.
And so I just think that was one of those weekends where, especially in that ballpark, it gets out. So I think both teams are coming into weekends where, going to Austin, that's never a good matchup really for anybody.
No.
But I think they're just coming off weekends where, like, okay, that was just baseball. Those are the things that happen. You get a bad matchup for whatever reason, and it just goes wrong. So I think the game one is going to be very interesting.
Yes.
Because Tyler Fay has been very, very good for Alabama. After the first start or two, he pitched a no-hitter against Florida earlier in the year. And we talked about Riojas, who now is in the 2 spot instead of the 1. I'm very interested to see how that goes because I think Alabama can get a game. And if it gets 2, you're feeling really good about your chances to host and maybe get a 2-weekend hosting spot. But that one will be fascinating. I don't know that I'm going to pick anybody to beat Texas and Austin. But Zane Adams in the 2 spot can give them starts deep into the game. He can go 6 innings and give you 1 or 2 runs. And so I don't think that one's a runaway for Texas either.
Gotcha.
Chris, you mentioned that crazy stat with Mississippi State, and they're still atop of the conference. Is there any other stat that you've got that doesn't make any sense, whether it's a team at the top and they're putting up bad numbers, or if it's a team in the middle or down low that's putting up great numbers that just is not equaling wins or losses, either or? Is there another team out there and another stat that's just totally got you flabbergasted and you just can't figure it out?
Well, I don't know that I would go that far. The 2 teams that have underachieved the most based on the runs they've scored and the runs they've given up in this order are State and Vanderbilt. With Vanderbilt, it's just coming down to a can't throw strikes issue. And there's been some games where Vanderbilt just did not hit with men on base. So those are, I mean, we're getting to the point where the numbers are kind of starting to normalize. Some stuff that I've kind of kept my eye on is Kentucky, I think, is overachieved. They're on the other end of that. The win-loss record is better than it should be. I think the pitching, Kentucky's given up a lot of base runners and a lot of walks and hit batsmen right now. I've kind of felt like that was one where Kentucky was – and look, I can say some team is maybe returning to earth a little bit and still feel like that's a good team. I have a ton of respect for Nick Mangione and what he's done there. They're going to be in a regional barring a collapse. But Kentucky is really – they're a low strikeout staff. I think they're the lowest in the league in terms of strikeout percentage, and they're one of the higher staffs in the league in terms of walking and hitting guys. No, they keep it in the park, which helps them. But I think Kentucky's a team that they've lost 4 straight series, and you could see kind of in the numbers that maybe a little bit of a return to the pack was coming for them, and that's what's happened the last few weekends.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chris, if you would, please break down. I've got 2 other games I want to talk about. One is A&M LSU. Break down that matchup for us that is going to be at Alex Box.
Oh, my goodness. I have no idea what's coming in this one. A&M can just really flat out hit.
Yes.
And look, LSU's got a couple of potential first-round picks in William Schmidt and Kason Evans. That will be, I think, next year's draft. And then waiting to see when Cooper Moore comes back. A&M just hits the tar out of the baseball and gets on base. And A&M walks, which is an Achilles heel of the LSU staff. But there's an issue. Like LSU, for as many free passes as issues, they do a decent job of keeping the ball in the park. And I think the ball gets out right now easier in College Station than it does in Baton Rouge. And A&M is the worst staff in the league by a long shot in terms of percentage of home runs given up. They give up home runs to about 1 out of every 25 hitters. Nobody else in the league is even close to that. And so I would keep an eye on that. LSU can hit the long ball. A&M has made a change to its rotation. It has gone Sadeo, Sims, and Moss all year in that order. They are going TBA in Game 3. They could pitch Moss out of the bullpen.
We lost you for a minute, Chris.
Yeah, sorry. I think I hit a chord. Let me try something here. Here we go. Yeah. What was I saying? Oh, A&M's got a shortage of arms. Like they've pitched fewer guys than anybody in the league. And LSU's got a lot of guys. And a lot of them not pitched well, but they're talented guys. And for some of them, could click at any minute. So I don't really know what to expect in that series. I've taken A&M just because I think it's a better team right now. And I trust it more across the board than I do LSU. But that's a series that I could see going the other way because of starting pitching depth for LSU.
Chris, looking at that LSU team, clearly there's talent. Is it a developmental issue? Is LSU having problems developing these guys? Or is it just it's a seasoning issue? They just got to get seasoned. They just got to get reps, and then they'll start doing it. Or is it a mixture of both?
That's a good question. I mean, if I knew that, I might be working for the LSU staff right now instead of being on your podcast. But I'm just looking at the guys that have struggled. Gavin Guidry's returning from arm injury. It's been pretty ugly after being great for a month. Devin Sheeran is a tremendous, I think, pro prospect. But he missed a whole year. Might have missed almost 2 years with an arm injury. So he's getting back into it. They did add some veteran arms in the portal. Santiago Garcia from Oregon has not been kind of what they hoped, but he's been better lately. And then you're looking down, the list of guys. I mean, you're looking at Marcos Paz, Ethan Plug, Zion Theopolis. Jaden Newt's been hurt a ton. You're looking at guys that either just through inexperience or injury haven't been out there a lot. Now, look, they've got so many of them. They've got 20 guys who could pitch that probably anybody would have signed just based on the talent coming in. But there's a big difference between talent and production. You see it in the draft all the time. Like you see guys that are super talented that get taken top 5 rounds in MLB, and you're going, well, that's a 5.5 or 6 area right there. And sometimes it works out. More often than time, it doesn't. But I think it's just an issue where LSU went and got a lot of really talented arms. And guess what? Most pitchers at 19, 20, and 21 are not the finished product. I suspect that's got a lot to do with what you're seeing.
Let's finish up with that matchup right there.
Yeah, that one. That's a big
one. You zigged when you should have zagged.
This one right here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Ole Miss and Tennessee, both of these teams come in hot. How do you see Mike Bianco, however you say it, Bianco, I've heard it both ways, and Ole Miss going up to Rocky Top?
I like what you've done with the background there, by the way. I don't know if that's like massive firework displays after home runs or that's the Milky Way or what we got here, but it looks pretty cool.
That's me doing electrical work on the side is what it is.
Well, it's showing. I think that's another one I could see it go either way. I don't know. I've seen Tennessee where it's just been so uneven at the end. Defensive meltdowns or bullpen meltdowns, but it's a really talented team. If you take the stat that we call whip in baseball and you add in hit batsmen, which I don't know why we don't because there's so many of them in college baseball, Tennessee is leading the league in terms of the fewest base runners given up an inning. And I think that's pretty big because it's hard to score runs when you don't get dudes on base. Now, they do give up a lot of home runs, which can happen in that ballpark, which is small. But you've got an Ole Miss staff that's pitched really well, too. They're getting 3 really good starts every weekend out of Hunter Elliott off the jump, Kate Townsend, who's well again. And the third starter, name escapes me, but that they've gotten some really good starts out of him, too. Both pretty good bullpens. Both teams that have struggled to hit at times. You know, the hitting runners in scoring position has not always been there, particularly for Ole Miss. I think on paper that's a pretty even matchup between 2 pretty similar teams. I think to me it's like what Tennessee team shows up because I feel like the last year and a half in the league they've almost played better on the road than they have home at times, and so you know that fan base remembers who its coach was and where the program left off, and that put Elander in a tough spot.
Yes.
And I feel like sometimes, like the expectations may be a little bit outsized for what they expected from him, from Josh Elander. And sometimes when you're in a park, you know, where it starts to go wrong, everybody groans, and you just feel the tension build. I'm trying to decide whether playing at home is a blessing or a curse for Tennessee this weekend. I guess in about 3 days we'll know.
You know, Chris, I heard this a couple of years ago, and I've always kept my eye on it. They say the Friday night games there at Tennessee, the wind's blowing in from right field off the Smokies, and they say it is almost nearly impossible to go yard in right field. They said it's so hard from the power alley to the foul pole. It is so extremely hard. Have you ever noticed that? And have you ever seen schools pitch to that or around that? Like, hey, this guy, fastball pitcher, mostly right-hander. They're a little late on the ball. We're going to go because we'll know we'll keep it in the park there at Tennessee. Is it something that you've seen? It's something you've been aware of? Or is it – because I think you definitely play that into mind, especially when you're dealing with the bullpen like Ole Miss. Like, hey, let's get some fireballers up here if we see right-handers so we can get that fly ball to right field. Have you seen that, or have you ever paid any attention to it?
Yeah, and by the way, I'm going to give you – I think that's a phenomenal question. And I think that's almost worth a segment on its own. I've got to run to another show in a second, but I will tell you, I think that's a great question. I've always even wondered, like, how much does that affect pitching? Because, I mean, if home runs are affected by wind, does the wind either behind you going crossways or to your back affect your pitching? You would think it would too. I heard this stat on the Athletics Baseball podcast, Rates and Barrels. And I knew wind was a factor we don't talk about enough, but apparently 5 miles an hour of wind can affect a ball in the air somewhere between 18 and 19 feet of distance. So think about that.
Wow.
If a ball is blowing out and it's going to go, 350 and you got a 15-mile-an-hour wind, well, then it's it's 400 and it's out of the park. If it's blowing in the other way, maybe that's a wind. That's almost hard to believe. But I have to think the coaches adjust to that somewhat. Are they going to share the state secrets? Probably not. But I think that's a topic that probably doesn't get talked about enough, because sometimes the performance is not on the player. It's on what happens when the ball is in play. And I think and I see that in Nashville a lot. The ball can really get out quickly at Vanderbilt because there's a pretty stiff wind blowing out to right and right center pretty frequently.
Well, Bianco's been there for over a quarter of a century. I don't think it's any news to him. I think he knows.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, guys. I really appreciate you all having me on. Yeah.
Chris, one more thing before we let you go. Enjoy the weekend, and just for you, anchor down and chop on. Let's go Braves.
Yeah, let's go Braves indeed. We're off to a much better start than we were a year ago.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
See you, Chris.
All right, Heath, that's going to wrap up the interview with Chris Lee. We have some amazing matchups this weekend in the SEC, including 2 that tipped off and had the first pitch last night of Arkansas and Georgia, and then Auburn and Florida. And the roller coaster season continues for Auburn as Auburn got beat in the Swamp 6-3.
Yeah. we talk about it every single day, the roller coaster. We don't know where the roller coaster is going to take us. If you've ridden Space Mountain a few times, you know where the dips and dives are going to be. Even though it's in the dark, you kind of know. This season, we don't know, man. It's like riding Space Mountain for the first time with a blindfold on. You have no idea what's going on.
Yes.
You're in the dark with a blindfold and going fast. And that's what this SEC season's doing in baseball this year. It's going incredibly fast, and there's been a lot of dips and doos and highs and lows and turns and cannonball runs and dipsy doos and everything else. I mean, it's insane. So I'm looking for another crazy weekend.
Yeah.
And someone's going to get swept that we don't see it coming. It's been happening every weekend.
And then that matchup right up there at Baum Walker Stadium, Arkansas also beat Georgia 6-3.
Didn't shock me, but there's that first yawn. I'm going to start timing that. Let's see. 8:31. I'll remember that for Monday.
Are we that boring, Heath?
I usually come straight from doing all my running around, dropping off kids at school and everything, coming back and walking straight from my car in, change my shirt, sit down and do the show. And it's just go, go, go. I haven't had anything to eat, I haven't had anything to drink, I haven't had anything this morning. So it is what it is. But getting to Arkansas and Georgia, Arkansas with that 6-3 win, this series is not going to shock me. I've been thoroughly, thoroughly impressed. And I'm very thoroughly impressed right now of seeing this Arkansas team kind of bounce back, do its thing. A lot of people had these guys down and out. Georgia was playing red, smoking hot. Ran into a little bit of a speed bump last weekend. Is this the real Georgia? I don't think it is. I think these last two games are going to be fun.
Heath, these two stats right here sum up the losses for both teams. Auburn, 8 hits, 3 runs scored. That's not winning baseball.
Nope, that's not winning baseball at all.
Georgia, 7 hits, 3 runs. Neither one of those stats right there will get you many wins in the SEC.
No, it won't. You just got to. We all know this, Stephen, and it's simple. That's the great thing about baseball. It's overly complicated, but at the end of the day, it's really simple. The things that you're bad at, you've got to get better at.
Yes.
And if it's one of those things where you can't throw strikes like Vanderbilt, you got to find a way to throw strikes. If it's not scoring enough runs and leaving too many men on base, you got to find a way to get that one extra hit or that timely hit when you need it. And it's just that simple. And it was like, well, if it's so simple, why can't you do it? Well, baseball's hard.
Yeah.
So, again, how hard it is, it's still that simple of, either you make it happen or you don't. I still believe in the philosophy. You lose by 2 or more runs, that's on the players.
Right.
You lose by 1 run, you're on 2. That's on the coach.
Yep.
He set the lineup wrong. He moved hitters in the wrong spot. He left a pitcher in too late. Brought in the wrong guy from the bullpen. Things of that nature. I mean, look, Brian O'Connor's a phenomenal coach. He knows more baseball. He's forgotten more baseball than I'll ever learn, and I know a good bit. But Brian O'Connor here a couple of weekends ago when they were playing Georgia, I believe it was that Saturday game, they brought in a pitcher. He threw 12 pitches and gave up 5 runs. And they lost in extra innings. State came back and got the lead. And Georgia tied it up in the 9th, and State ended up losing in the 9th. I think they lost by 2 or 3 in the 10th inning, or the 11th, whichever one it was, but it was an extra innings. But bringing in the wrong pitcher at the wrong time, it can be disastrous. And it was. You gave up 5 runs on 12 pitches. They cost you the game. You got swept. I mean, a lot of things went bad.
Yes.
And did that sweep carry over the following weekend? It did.
And Heath, let me also say this. To Kay's point there, Alabama probably will rally back. I would love to see it, but unfortunately, going to the number 4 team in the country of Austin, Texas to take on the Longhorns, they are arguably the best team in the conference right now. That's going to be a very tall mountain to climb.
Yeah, and I'm jumping out of conference real quick, Stephen. You talked about Texas being the number 4 team. Have you noticed anything about Georgia Tech here recently?
They are really good.
They were talking about the attendance at the Braves game and the Georgia Tech game. Midweek sellouts at both.
Wow.
I mean, we're starting to see some big things happening. When you're filling up and I've been to that stadium at Georgia Tech. It's a nice stadium. It's very small, but it's very nice. A beautiful stadium, and the backdrop of seeing Atlanta back there and the CNN building and all that, beautiful. Seeing the skyline, but it's a very small stadium. But for midweek games, everybody has problems getting people in.
Yes.
It's the middle of the week. People aren't going to be driving to go watch a baseball game and get back late. It is what it is. And Georgia Tech selling out midweek games. Atlanta Braves having packed houses. People are crazy about baseball right now over in Atlanta. And you know what, Stephen? It goes back to my thing that I've been saying since a teenager. Winning solves most problems, almost all problems. Winning solves almost all problems. And the problems that you got are the ones that you want.
Did you see, and I completely missed this, Heath, did you see what happened on Tuesday night?
I'm sure I did. What you referring to?
Down goes number 1 as UC Santa Barbara upset number 1 UCLA 4-0, ending UCLA's 25 game win streak.
Yeah, the Gauchos
Yes.
of Santa Barbara. Got to love the Gauchos. You don't know what a Gaucho is? It's kind of like a Mexican pilgrim farmer.
Right.
Yeah, some say it's a farmer, some say it's a pilgrim. But it is what it is. The Gauchos of Santa Barbara.
How about that?
That's a great program, man.
Yep.
That's a great program. It's always been a great program. And, they hosted a regional. A lot of people were upset when they got to host a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I don't think that was last year. I think that was 2 years ago. It could have been last year. But, the Gauchos, that didn't shock anybody out in the West Coast. I can tell you that follows college baseball, which is probably like 8 people. But that did not surprise anybody out there. That's a good program. I mean, that's kind of like Southern Miss beating Alabama, or Southern Miss beating Ole Miss, or Southern Miss beating Mississippi State. Oh, Southern Miss has already done that this season.
Mm-hmm.
They're a good program, and that's exactly what that is.
And there was also, okay, here we go, another one. Long Beach State. They knocked off number 12 USC. So both of the Los Angeles schools went down on midweeks this week.
Yeah, Long Beach State, another great program out there.
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord. I'm going to have to give me some water or something, Stephen. But Long Beach State, another proud program. They have not been as good in the past few years. That program is a very proud program. They always think they should be good in baseball. Small school, yes, lots of pride, tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
And so Long Beach State, great program. Not shocked at all they beat USC. But I would love to see the Long Beach States and the Pepperdines and Santa Cruz and Santa Barbara. Well, not necessarily Santa Cruz, but Santa Barbara. Those schools, I love it when they make runs and make it into Omaha.
Now, Heath, everybody talks about the ACC in football and the ACC in football and basketball. Nobody gives the ACC any love in baseball. However, they are an extremely good conference in baseball, as tonight they have a matchup of the top 3 teams in the conference in the country. Number 2, Georgia Tech versus number 3, North Carolina. Oh, and sitting there at number 8, Florida State.
Dude, I think everyone respects Florida State's program, and I think the majority of us either giggle or feel sorry, and I do both for Florida State. I always want to see the SEC win a baseball title. My passion's for the SEC. I love the SEC. I've had family members go to just about every school in the SEC. Heck, I even dated a couple of girls that went to Vanderbilt. But I would really like to see the SEC win, but I'm okay if Florida State wins one. Just once. Just once. Those guys have been to Omaha, like 26 times, 28 times?
Yeah.
And they still have not won one. And it's just heartbreaking. And they've been close. But looking forward to seeing what Florida State does. I always kind of keep an eye on them during the season. I don't follow them with intent, but I always kind of keep an eye on where they're at. Good season. But you talked about North Carolina. That program was dominating college baseball here, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're still a great program. They're just not dominating like they once were. But, man, you look at Georgia Tech. You look at North Carolina. You look at Florida State. I really think the ACC is the second best baseball conference in America. I don't think it's even close.
Right.
I think SEC's best hands down. And a lot of people made fun of the SEC last year during regional play because there was a lot of teams that exited. But who ended up with the most teams in Omaha last year? The SEC. And who won it? The SEC. And who beat all those ACC teams in super regional play? The SEC. The ACC was bragging like, oh, we had – I'm making this up. We had 7 hosts, and 6 of the ACC teams beat SEC teams to win the regional championship. And I was like, and 6 of those teams lost to SEC teams the following weekend in super regional play. Good for you. You're still below us. Have fun.
All right. So, Heath, briefly, I do want to also mention, what do Georgia Tech and North Carolina have in common as they square off tonight?
They got a lot of things in common. Are you talking about the talent that's going to be on the mound?
No.
What you talking about?
Both teams have now over 30 wins this season. Both of them sit there with 31 wins.
That's super impressive.
That's incredible.
That's super impressive. It really is.
Yes.
You know, and that might be playing teams like Elon during the middle of the week, but that's okay. I mean, you're seeing teams in the SEC play, Alcorn State and
Samford,
LSU Shreveport and whoever, Texas A&M Commerce. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. So midweek games are midweek games, but it is what it is. Good morning, Sheila.
How are you? So, Heath, are you ready to transition into the post show?
As always.
All right. So we are going to run one of our wonderful advertisers, and then we will transition into the post show of the Stingray Show on this fun Friday.
Spring is blooming at Tuscaloosa Farmers Co-op, your one-stop shop for everything you need to grow healthy plants all season long. Come explore our fully stocked garden center featuring trusted names like High Yield and Fertaloon. And don't miss our Bonnie plant sale happening now through May. It's the perfect time to stock up on quality vegetables, herbs, and flowers. Whether you're planting a backyard garden or prepping your fields, Tuscaloosa Farmers Co-op has the tools, knowledge, and products to help you grow. Come see us, 4301 McFarland Boulevard, or call us, 205-339-8181.
All right. And we're back, and we want to welcome you into the post show. And Heath, why don't we start with the national day of today, as it is currently April the 17th. April is zooming right on by. And Heath, today is National Crawfish Day.
Nothing wrong with that. I have not had any crawfish this spring. Just haven't done it, been busy. I might have some time this weekend, but man, I love some crawfish, Stephen.
I'm not a fan.
Stephen, don't be boring, man. Go out and live a little bit. Do you like crawfish on your salad? Do you like crawfish dip?
The only thing I
you're
like
missing out
is
on
crawfish
dip.
tails.
Say again?
Crawfish tails. They're pretty good.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what you're eating anyway.
Right.
Sheila, change your life this weekend, Sheila. Go have you some crawfish.
Yes.
Sheila, go with someone who loves crawfish. They'll teach you how to eat it correctly. But go with somebody or get some and bring it back to the house, or if you want to, make it a party all weekend on Saturday and go buy some fresh and boil it yourself. But love some crawfish.
Now, Heath, get this. Now, this is allegedly, so we don't know if this is true or not. But today, on the National Day, a massive 1,235-pound cheese ball was gifted to President Thomas Jefferson in 1801. Thus, the reason today is National Cheese Ball Day.
What did they do with that?
Have no idea.
I might waste some time this weekend. I don't know. I'm so busy this weekend. But I might get some time if I'm taking a little break. I might look that up.
All right, and finally, on the National Day of today, for any of you fun writers out there, it is National Haiku Poetry Day.
Stephen, in school, did y'all have to write haikus?
I can't remember if we did or not.
I remember we always had to do that. What is it, like 575?
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Yeah. Is it 5 syllables, 7 syllables, or is it 5 words, 7 words?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
No, I
5,
don't
7, 5. And I just remember that great line in Wayne's World. It might be in Wayne's World too. Someone is explaining something in random conversation, and Wayne's like, "Oh, nice haiku." Like, what? We're talking about haikus in the middle of Wayne's World? It was funny.
All right. Heath, are you ready for a dumb one? Because a lot of these are dumb.
Remember the cheese balls?
Yeah, this one makes no sense to me. Well, actually it does, but why it is a day, a national day, I don't know. Today is National Clean Out Your Medicine Cabinet Day. Like, what? Like, shouldn't we do that already?
Stephen, do you need to clean out your medicine cabinet?
No, I do that quite regularly.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I mean, we do it like once a week, once a month.
Probably once every 2 months.
And what's in your medicine cabinet that you usually throw away?
I mean, old medicine, old prescriptions, that kind of stuff. Anything that's out of date. And then have to go back to Walmart and get it.
Oh, so you talk about like over-the-counter stuff, like Tylenol, cold and flu. You're like, oh, this expired here a couple of months ago.
Yep.
I still take it. I'm like, when did it expire? 3 months? It's probably still good. Take it. It'll be delayed.
Right.
I will say I threw out some cough drops. I found some cough drops in one of my heavy jackets. I got this big black heavy jacket, and I don't ever wear it because I try not to go outside when it's cold. But I got other jackets that I can wear. But I had this big black heavy jacket because it was going to be snowing and sleeting, and it was going to be outside. And I reached in my pocket, and I hadn't worn it in like 2 years. I reached inside and I found a bag of cough drops. Well, look at there. And I looked at it, and it expired like last year. I threw them away. I was like, yeah. It was the kind where, like, even if you undid it, the paper still stuck on it and all that. Yeah, so just throw those away. There's only like 5 or 6 left. Just throw those away.
Right.
I'm not fighting the paper on 5 or 6 cough drops. No. Cough drops is not going to bust the budget. I can swing into the Dollar Generals down the street and get some more if I need to.
All right. Heath, how about birthdays, my friend?
I'm turning 21 this year, so what do you got?
Do you happen to know the name of Roderick Toombs?
I know a Jeremy Toombs. I know a David Toombs, the late David Toombs. Good guy. I'll share a story about David Toombs after this, but Roderick Toombs, don't know Roderick.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yes, you do. He is regarded as one of the professional wrestlers' most recognizable and influential stars. He is best known for his work with the WWF and the WCW between 1984 and 2000. He won 34 championships in his career, highlighted by the WWF Intercontinental Championship in '92 and the World Tag Team Championships with Woo in 2006, his last title. He was then inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2005.
Roddy Piper? His name is Roderick Toombs.
Roderick George Toombs. Today is the birthday of one Rowdy Piper, who also starred in the John Carpenter sci-fi film They Live.
It has one of the absolute best lines in cinema history. Have you ever seen that movie?
No, but I want to now.
It is a terrible movie. It's entertaining, but it's terrible. There's a reason why there wasn't a sequel. Okay, Steven, do you want the spoiler alert?
Don't care.
Okay. All right, spoiler alert. They're Alive is the name of the movie, right? Or They Live? What is it? They Live or They're Alive?
It's They Live. They Live.
Okay. Spoiler alert for They Live. If you haven't seen it and you want to, you need to tune out. 3, 2, 1. Okay, Steven.
Yeah.
Tell me, I made the joke here a couple of weeks ago on the show, like, did someone go into the movie studio high and everybody in the room high as a kite, like, hey, we want to make a movie about a robot from the future that's going to go back in time to kill a mom of a famous soldier that beats the robots in the future. How do we already know this? We don't know, but we're going to do this so we can win the war in the future. Like, oh, this is a great idea. It was the plot line for Terminator. All right. So They Live. Tell me how high people are in this movie.
I'm gonna do a timeout on this one. I'm gonna say that they were not high. I'm gonna say they were taking the trip on a little LSD on this one. I think that one sums it up a little bit better.
I don't think they got their drugs from the Dollar Generals down the street. Right. I think they got their drugs from somewhere else.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So, They Live is this movie about Martians, aliens.
And you put these goggles on.
And they're not goggles, they're like sunglasses.
Okay.
And so Roddy Piper, Hot Rod, puts on these sunglasses because all these aliens look like humans and they work human jobs, and they work elite jobs, they work bottom feeder jobs, they work in every class. And it's not one specific race, it's all races, and it's not men, it's all men and women, it's all sexes. And so, but you could put on these cool sunglasses.
Right.
And you could tell which one the aliens are. Yes, this was a movie.
Yeah.
And so the best line in the movie, and it's been said a million times, and Stone Cold's even said it, But and this is PG-13. Sorry, Mr. Johnny, if you're listening, I'm sorry. We're going here. But he says, and if you got kids in the car, this is where you fast forward 10 seconds. I'm here to chew bubble gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubble gum. And then he starts shooting up the place. He's in a bank.
Right.
Roddy Piper is in a bank, but he sees all these aliens in the bank. They're standing in line. They're working at the bank. They're the security guard. And it's one of those big fancy like New York banks where, it's got like 20-foot ceilings and chandeliers and a huge lobby that's like, I don't know, the size of a basketball court. And and he goes in there and this was a movie.
Yeah.
Who sat there's like, hey, man, let's do this movie. Like there's these aliens around us, but we don't know they're aliens. They're like humans. And we try to figure out who they are. Yeah, how do we figure it out? We put, man, we put sunglasses on.
Yeah.
You put sunglasses on, man, and that's how you tell who the aliens are. Who do you want to star in this movie? I want someone real serious, like that wrestling guy that like Mr. T doesn't like and Cyndi Lauper doesn't like. He seems like a bad guy. Well, let's get him. He seems cool. Like, how did this come about? And someone like, oh yeah, here's millions of dollars to go make this movie.
Yes.
Great idea.
Yeah.
But you know what, Stephen? It proved its point, and it was successful. You know why? Because that movie came out in 88?
It did. That was the year I was born.
Don't even ask me how I remember that.
Yeah.
That movie came out in 88. I was in junior high. And here we are talking about it almost, 40 years later?
Mm-hmm.
It worked.
38.
The drugs worked.
38 years, because that's how old I am.
That's you were born in 88?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
All right. You want to go to the deaths?
Yeah, I was going to bring up a quick picture of
Okay.
what I look like in 1988, Stephen. And you can laugh. Well, if I can find it. Here we go. Let's see. In 1988, yours truly looked like that. I have bad hair. I need a haircut. I got a dingy jersey. Look, my knee pad's falling out. Can you see that?
Right.
And those are high top pony cleats.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, those were the best cleats I ever had. They really were. Pony, what happened, man? You were so good to us for so long.
All right. Now, Heath, going to the deaths, we have 3. The first one, we're going back to 1790. He is an American founding father, the signer of both the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution, and he proved that lightning is electricity, and he invented the lightning rod to protect buildings.
I always thought it was Benny Franklin that did that.
You are correct.
Yeah.
He died on this day in 1790, the founding father, Benjamin Franklin.
Dude, he always seemed like the character. They said he liked to chase women.
Yeah.
He was a huge womanizer, but didn't make bone. Kind of a playboy, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
We've all seen pictures of Ben Franklin, whether it be cartoon pictures or on money. But doesn't look like a playboy, but acted like a playboy.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hugh Hefner didn't look like a playboy either, but he acted like one. So I get it. Old man chasing young women. But the one thing that still kills me about Benjamin Franklin, they said he was the absolute smartest guy there was. As far as the founding fathers, he was brilliant.
Right.
But they refused to let him write the Constitution because he was a huge prankster. And they were scared to death he was going to write jokes in the Constitution. And he promised them over and over that he wouldn't do it. And they still did not trust him because he was such a massive prankster.
Right.
and he was upset about that.
And
So,
he also thought that our bird for our country should not be the eagle; it should be the turkey.
yeah, I remember
That
that.
tells you how eccentric the guy really was.
And I mean, look, a turkey is a beautiful bird. It really is.
Yes.
It really, really is.
But can you imagine the United States of America turkey?
Yeah, no.
No,
Hey, Steven,
no.
I was talking about this yesterday. You know, Trudeau, the former prime minister of Canada, that's dating
Yeah.
Katy Perry. You know, he kept talking about how hockey is it's Canada's game. This is our game. We created it. It's our sport. We're the best at it. He kept bragging about it, this and that. And so anyway, the day before the gold medal game back in the Olympics, here just a few months back, you know, he tweeted out, you know, this is our game. This will be our day, you know, and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And talking about how great. I think he tweeted out a picture of like a gold maple leaf or something saying that, you know, the Canadians are going to win gold and blah, blah, blah. Who cares?
Right.
But I also liked that one certain leader of a nation that was in that gold medal game tweeted out a picture of a bald eagle destroying a Canadian gray goose. Like it was a real picture of a eagle taking out a gray goose. And I just thought it was hilarious. I was like, now it's spilled over. And let's admit it. I don't care your view on politics and politicians and what party you're for or against. Like, I don't care. Go for it. I'm glad that you care that much, that you're into it. God bless you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to laugh when politicians who are not athletic at all are way past their prime and don't have an effect for the game, get into it on Twitter. Like you're the leaders of your nations, and yet you're going to have fun games talking about a sport that neither one of you could play.
Right.
So absolutely loved it. Loved it. That tells you how much we love sports. It spills over into anything and everything we do in society, not only just in America, but everywhere. That's why the World Cup's a big deal. I don't care a thing about the World Cup, but you know what everyone else does, and I get it. Have fun, celebrate it. I'm not going to hate on it. Enjoy it. I might tune into a game. If they start winning, I might tune into multiple games, but God bless them. Have fun with it. Enjoy.
Now, Heath, your wife, Julie, will probably know the next individual that we're going to talk about who unfortunately passed away on this date in 2016. She is an American Emmy-winning actress known for Remington Steele as the secretary from 1983 to 1987. But the reason that your wife will remember her is because she did a ton of movies on Hallmark called Miss Miracle, and she was also Raymond's mother on Everybody Loves Raymond, the late, great Doris Roberts.
Maybe. I don't know if my wife would know. She might though. I don't know. Doris Roberts, great actress, and was in so many things.
And she was also, Heath, Clark Griswold's mother in Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, she had a spot on her neck and it said, "Is it turning red?" He's like, "Well, if you keep touching it, it will." But yeah, you got to love. She was in so many things, Stephen, and those are the people in Hollywood that I always appreciate the most. Are people that they never are the leading roles, but they keep getting these roles over and over and over and over and over. And that tells me that people like working with them. They enjoy them being around on set. They're professional. They take care of their stuff, or they're just a good actor. And so I'm always intrigued by those people. They call them character actors, and I absolutely love them, man, because they're funny.
All right, she was Beverly D'Angelo's mother then. All right, so thank you for clarifying that.
She was always drinking in Christmas Vacation, if I
Yes.
remember correctly.
Yes.
Sitting in the front yard in her pajamas drinking a martini and
Yep.
burped.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you got to love that, man. And she probably came up with that on her own. Like, I think my character likes to have a martini or two before she goes to bed every night.
Right.
And she's going to burp. Like, I wonder if that was planned, written into the script, or she just came up with that on her own. But those are the people you just thoroughly enjoy, man.
Yep.
They just make it work. They make scenes work, and those scenes make the movie.
All right. And he's finally on the deaths today from a woman who has died on this day in 2016. She is a well known American professional wrestler, and she is known for the first woman to ever enter a men's Royal Rumble. She was an icon in the WWE in 2016. At the age of 46, we lost China.
I was going to guess China. Yeah. She also won the Intercontinental Championship, I believe. Wasn't she Intercontinental Champion one time?
Yes.
Yeah. Just a troubled soul. I think a lot of things were happening in her life before she got into wrestling. And I think wrestling was kind of an escape. And then she kind of got trapped by that character in life. And yeah, when you break up and you're, I don't remember if her and Triple H ever got married or if they were just dating, but your ex starts dating the boss's daughter of the company you work at. Yeah, it's just kind of crazy. Yeah. I used to follow wrestling tremendously, and I haven't in a while. I know we got WrestleMania this weekend, and we had Mr. Candy on earlier this week, and
yeah.
But I can say this: I don't know if China's in the Hall of Fame, but she definitely deserves it, and I don't know if she'll get in.
Right.
Just because of that, there's that whole crazy story why Macho Man wouldn't get in because it was rumor him and Stephanie had a relationship years ago. And Vince didn't like Macho Man for that reason, and he wasn't in the Hall of Fame. And they eventually put him in after Macho Man had passed.
Right.
And China has passed many years ago. What'd you say? We lost her in 2016?
Yep.
So we lost her 10 years ago. It's been a decade. That's crazy. Right. But yeah. Steven, how did we lose China? Was it drugs? Was it a car wreck?
Do not have a clue.
Self-inflicting.
I don't know.
Yeah, and that's kind of normal with wrestlers. We see that all the time, self-inflicting. There's so much pain and stuff, but she changed a lot of things in wrestling, and she made a name for herself, and the fans liked her. Fans loved her, and I wish we could, just wish we could see a little bit more of China and I'm speaking about the Hall of Fame.
Right. Heath, let's go briefly and run through the history of today. And on April the 17th, we have a major one in the history of the turning point and the start of America.
What year?
1775.
That's the year before we become a country. Do we start our military this day? I know we fought the war, but I don't know if we had an official military. What happened in 1775? Tell me what happened.
The British are coming. The British are coming. Paul Revere's famous ride to warn Samuel Adams and John Hancock happened on this day when they were marching from Boston to Lexington, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm. These revisionist historians, and sometimes they're right. Sometimes they're not. There's so many stories about that. They said it wasn't as dramatic and it didn't happen. and some said it did happen, but it wasn't like that. And they said there were British already on the ground there, that they were known for taking out people to let people know, and going through all the towns. Like, some people say it was a miracle that he made it through. Some say that the British were just didn't want to be here, didn't want to have anything to do with this. I mean, there's so many. Whoever you want to listen to, you can find whatever answer you're looking for, which tells me that a lot of this isn't true. But there's got to be some truth in there somewhere. But somewhere along the line in our history books, and I don't know if it's true or not either, because we found that out before, that we've kind of told stories. It's great to tell kids. Hey, the British are coming. The British. Some people said it never happened. I like to think that it did.
I do too.
But, I don't know. But Stephen, I'll say this, man. Think about fighting a war with the technology you had in the 1700s.
I know.
Wood teeth were considered technology. I mean, that was the highest tech, was wood teeth. I mean, you don't have guns that shoot multiple rounds.
Right.
You got to stop and reload while people are trying to stab you with their gun. I mean, it's just crazy to think about. So think about those guys from the British Army who had to get on a boat and didn't even know the boat was going to make it over here. You're going to a foreign land you've never seen.
Right.
You're unfamiliar with it. Like, you don't have a picture, you don't have a reference, you don't have anything. And heaven forbid, if you cross the Atlantic in the cold, could you imagine the waves and how dark it is at night? There's no lights on the boat.
Right.
So you might sink on the way over here. It's taking you, a year to get over here? I don't know how long it took to sail over here. And then you got to go fight this war in a foreign land, and no one here wants you here, and you have no technology, and it's freezing, and it's miserable. And in April, it's probably not. You know what? The British are like, hey, how about we wait to go attack these guys until it warms up?
Right.
It's kind of miserable. How does April 17th sound? I don't know. Is it going to be warmer? Yeah, it should be. All right, let's do it April 17th.
Right.
I mean, it's just crazy to think about.
Heath, moving to 1937, what major cartoon makes his appearance on this day in 37? And he's still very popular today.
For some reason, Popeye jumped in my mind, but I don't know if it's Popeye. Is it a superhero?
No.
It's not Dennis the Menace.
No.
I'm going to say it's not Calvin and Hobbes.
No.
One
dude.
Say again?
It's one dude and it's an animal.
I'm not going to say it's Garfield.
No.
I won't say it's Snoopy.
No.
It's an animal. That should tell me something. I don't know. Huckleberry Hound. I have no idea.
Daffy Duck.
Wow.
The cartoon duck makes his first appearance in Porky's Duck Hunt in 1937.
Love Daffy Duck. Yeah. What is it with ducks having speech impediments? Daffy Duck and Donald Duck. Like, why do we got to have them having speech impediments? Why can't other animals have speech impediments? Why do those two have to have it?
Yeah.
I'd never thought about that to just now. But yeah, Daffy Duck. Daffy Duck never doesn't get enough love.
I know.
Suffering succotash.
All right. Heath, going back to baseball, can you tell me who got their first major league hit on this day in 1947?
Their first hit in 47?
Yes, first major league hit.
Did they happen to play for the Red Sox?
I have no idea.
For some reason, probably not. First thing came to mind was Ted Williams, but that's not going to be right.
He debuted with the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Well, then that might be Jackie Robinson. Yeah, there you go.
And do you know what kind of hit it was?
I think I've heard this before. Two things are coming to mind. Either it was an infield single or he hit one off the wall and got a double.
A
No?
bunt.
Well, infield single. There you go.
A bunt for his first major league hit.
Man, Jackie Robinson, good play.
Yeah.
And he was one of the greatest in the games at the time. I mean, that's why they let him in. And rightfully so. It's crazy to think about. There was a world that we lived in where, like, you can't play the sport because of they give the color of your skin or this or that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of like, what were we thinking back then?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it. I don't know if I want to understand it.
Right.
I'm just glad that I believe in people should get opportunities. The pursuit of happiness, the land of the free. I think you should go after your dreams. I think you should be able to chase them down. And I don't think anybody should be like, no, you can't because you're too poor. No, you can't because you're too short. No, you can't because of this. Listen, if there was a woman who could play professional basketball, so be it. If she could hang with it and perform, why not?
Right.
If there was a woman who could pitch and strike out people, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with her playing. If she wants to play with men, let her play with men.
Right.
I'm okay with that. Now, on the opposite side of that, no, men should not be in women's sports. It's not fair. It's nowhere close to being fair. It's not right, and we all know that. So men are stronger than women physically. It's not fair. They have more stamina, those things. So, yeah, not buying that one. Sorry. Sorry.
All right. Let's get off of that because we're going
Let's do a deep dive on that, Stephen.
What now?
Let's do a deep dive on that.
No.
Let's get Gavin Newsom on the show.
No. All right.
I'm with you on that.
Heath, can you tell me what major thing happened on this day in 1950 that had to do with mail?
With mail? Stamps went up. I have no idea.
The U.S. Postmaster General ordered residential deliveries to be reduced to 1 time a day. Up to that time, residential deliveries could occur up to 4 times a day.
What?
Yes.
I never knew that.
I did not either. So
I got a feeling with us being in the South, that was not a luxury.
Right. So up to 1950, residential mail deliveries could be up to 4 times a day.
That's insane. That's insane to think about.
Yep.
4 times a day. You know what? I don't want to admit this, but I think the Amazon man's went to my house more than 4 times in a day. Yeah. And it wasn't because of things I ordered.
Right.
I probably order like 6 to 10 things a year off Amazon. And I usually do it all around like Mother's Day or like right before ball season.
Yeah.
And that's it. I'll be shocked if it's 6 things. I'd be shocked.
Heath, we've got 4 things left, okay? The first one, going back to baseball, can you tell me who made his debut with the New York Yankees in 1951?
Whew.
And if this helps you, he went 1 for 4.
That doesn't help me, but first thing comes to mind is Mickey Mantle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Yep.
Mickey Mantle makes his major league debut on this day in 51, and Jackie Robinson got his first hit in Major League Baseball in 47.
Mickey Mantle, so highly regarded.
Yeah.
And a flawed man. I remember, gosh, I was in college, Stephen, and I want to say Mick got a kidney transplant because he drank too much,
Yeah.
and a lot of people were very upset that he got a kidney and thought other people deserved it because after he got that kidney, he only lived a couple of more years.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, that kidney could have gone to somebody else, and blah blah blah. And I believe the good Lord's in control of that stuff, but it's your time. It's your time. But man, Mickey Mantle, phenom of a player, and to hear the older generations talk about him in such awe and love and respect, and yeah, Mickey Mantle, man, one of the biggest names in baseball, probably the second biggest name ever in baseball history. Babe Ruth being number one. Mickey or Jackie Robinson would probably be number two.
Yeah.
And the other one would be three. So, and I'd probably put Nolan Ryan as number four. Don't know. Don't ask me about number five. I hadn't thought that far yet. But.
Okay. Heath and Kay. Kay, I do want you to chime in on this one. Heath, you as well. In 1964, which car debuted and it sold 417,000 in its first year?
Who made the car? Ford?
I can tell you.
Oh, you could tell me? If it was Ford, I'd guess the Mustang. But I want to say their first year was 65.
Okay, any guesses? Okay, this is what she said.
For some reason, I thought the Trans Am came out like in the 70s. I could be wrong.
Today, April the 17th of 64, Ford's new sports car, the Mustang, officially goes on sale for a base price of $2,368, and it sold an industry record of 417,000 units in its first year.
Those cars still look phenomenal. Every time I see one, I kind of stop and watch it. When I was a kid in the 80s, like every person in the trailer park had a 60s Ford Mustang.
Right.
Like they were on their last leg. And now everybody that you see driving one is it's their second or third car.
Right.
That they have. And God bless them. You know, see, this is what I don't understand. I'm going to get on soapbox here for 20 seconds. If you go out and work your tail off, Stephen, and you want your yard to be the best looking yard on your street, that's fine, or in your city or county. If you want to waste your time and money on your yard, you go work a job and you enjoy having the prettiest yard there is. God bless you, go for it. If you love cars, and you go out and you bust your butt and you work your way up in the corporate world or wherever business that you do, and you want to have a Ford Mustang and you want to have the Bandit Trans Am, God bless you. If it's your money, go do what you want to. If you inherited a ton of money and you want to collect baseball cards and sign guitars, it's your money.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing I don't understand about people. I heard somebody the other day like, having a nice yard is racist. It shows white supremacy. I'm like, what in the world are you talking about? Working in your yard nonstop? Like, that makes no sense. And even if I said, prove it to me, how did you come up with that? They couldn't do it. And so I just kind of laugh at people who hate on people having second cars and this and that. And I'm like, I got a buddy I went to high school with, graduated. He's done very well for himself. He doesn't have any kids. And this guy has like several cars. There's actually two guys I went to high school with. One has a plane and several cars and motorcycles, and the other one has a bunch of cars.
Yep.
Good for them. Like, who cares if they have 3 or 4 cars? Like, let them have fun. That's their hobby. They're not going to the ballpark every night like I am. They're not doing this. That's okay. That's it's their money. It's their life. Let them choose it.
Heath, it's just like we talked about, I believe it was yesterday. It all goes back to mental illness issues, man. It has to.
Yeah.
It has to.
I mean, I understand jealousy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a jealous person. You know, Stephen, I've shared this on the show before. Whenever the jackpot gets large on the Powerball or something, you know, I rarely ever buy a ticket. I will say this: when it gets like over $1 billion, like, hey, you know what? I'll go spend $4.
Yeah,
that'll be fun. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But I tell everybody, I tell all my friends, hey, if you ever win the Powerball, I will never ask you for a penny of money. I won't ask you for you to buy me anything or pay off anything. I want to buy you, who won the lottery, I want to buy you a meal once a year, and I want to sit down and hear the stories of all the cool places you went and the fun people you met.
And the things you did.
Yeah. Like, I want to buy, like, everyone's expecting you to buy the meal for the rest of your life since you won the Powerball. Like, I'll buy the meal. I just want to hear the stories.
And I want to live your life through you.
I don't know if I necessarily want to live their life, but I just want to hear about some fun things.
Right.
I mean, if they told me that, you know, oh my gosh, the Swiss Alps is the absolute most beautiful thing I've ever seen in the world. We went back twice, and, you know, I would come home and tell my wife, I'm like, baby, I've never been to the Swiss Alps, but I heard so-and-so tell me about it. They went 3 times. Let's save up our money and go to the Swiss Alps.
Right.
You know, and I'd call them up. Hey, what places do I need to eat at? What places do I need to go?
Mm-hmm.
You could join us. I doubt we stayed in the same hotel that you are, but
right.
but yeah, I mean, but that, yeah, I just always want to hear about the fun place. Or if someone said we went to South Africa and we had the absolute greatest steak ever, I'm like, what? Now I'm probably not going to go to South Africa, but if I was ever traveling and I saw a South African steakhouse, like, you know what? We're trying that tonight.
Right.
You know, like, I don't know, but some people get bent out of shape, and I don't understand jealousy. I never have understood jealousy.
Yes.
I just don't get it. Why people are jealous. Like, Stephen, if I went out and started my own show and it took off and I got on ESPN, like, I figured at first you would, you know, be like, oh, wow, I miss Heath. That would be normal. Because if that happened, it was the opposite. Like, I miss Stephen, but I'm proud for him. You know, if I was doing a show with Charles Barkley every morning on ESPN, I would hope that you would be proud for me. You know,
man, I hate that Heath Hopkins, man. I can't stand him. I'm like, what? What?
Yeah, but people just do just craziest things and get so jealous. Like, I won't say any names. Won't say a single name. I won't even say if I'm related to them or not. But there was a person. I won't even say man or female, boy or girl. But there's a person, and they were making great money. Let's just say good money. They weren't making great money. They were making good money. But they were straight out of college. They were making good money. And they had a friend that was a teacher. And teachers in Mississippi don't make bupkis. Never have, never will, sadly, very sadly. And the person that was making good money straight out of college was like, well, she gets home at 3:30 every day. I want to get home at 3:30. And I'm like, yeah, but she also starts an hour and a half before you do. And she works longer. She works 30 minutes longer than you do.
Right.
But I have to sit in traffic, and I get home at like 6 o'clock. She's already been home for 2.5 hours. She comes home and takes a nap. Well, do you want to quit your job and become a teacher? No. Well, okay then. But I don't get to come home at 3. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, it was a huge issue. You know what that person ended up doing? Became a school teacher. But it was different. It was different.
Wow.
they had a family. They wanted to be closer to their family, wanted to be on the same schedule. And that's the reason why they did it. And I respect that tremendously.
Right.
But I was just kind of like, what are we talking about, people? Like, why? Why are you getting so upset that someone who makes less than you and has to get up an hour and a half before you gets home before you? Like, who cares?
Heath, wrapping up, we've got two things left. Both of these are in the 80s. Which country music megastar hosted Saturday Night Live, participating in skits and performing medleys of his hits on this day in 82?
Ooh, 82 should give me the sign. Kenny Rogers was big back then, but I don't think it's Kenny.
And I will also tell you this, Elton John was an additional musical guest that evening.
82
Yes.
country music star.
And talk about mega star.
Was it a woman?
No. You're going to be so shocked by this. I had no idea he did this.
The first person that comes to mind is Hank Jr.
No.
Eddie Rabbit was big back then.
I don't know if he was big back then, but he is a megastar in country music.
George Jones?
No.
Who?
The Man in Black.
Johnny Cash did Saturday Night Live.
Hosted it, did a melody of his hits, and then he also did with Elton John.
Wow.
He did skits and performed medleys of his hits, and Elton John was an additional musical guest on this day in 1982.
Wow. You know what? Elton John has done so much with other people. I remember he did that thing on MTV years ago with Eminem. That was back in like the early 2000s, and that was such a huge controversy. You know, and Elton John has done something with somebody. Like, if I had to guess which artist has done more crossover stuff or duo stuff, I would probably guess Elton John first.
Right.
I
don't know, Willie Nelson, man, he's up there too.
Yeah, Willie's done a lot. But yeah, wow. I wonder, you know what? You said it was in 1982 that he did it? You can look up the old Saturday Night Lives. I know they're streaming somewhere, probably Peacock. I bet you can pull that episode up and watch it. I'll say this. Back during the Vietnam War, Johnny Cash had a variety show, the Johnny Cash Show.
Yep.
And the guy that led the music was a guy named Bill Walker. I actually wasted time because I kept hearing him say, I had a CD to talk about it, and he would always say, "Hey, Bill Walker. Good night, Bill Walker. How you doing, Bill Walker?" I always called him Bill Walker, first and last name.
Yeah.
I was like, who's this Bill Walker guy? It was some Australian guy that was big in music here in America. He's not with us anymore. But and Bill Walker did a trillion things in music, but he had this variety show. And my father was in Vietnam. He got drafted, saw action with the Marine Corps. And him and mom had been married for a couple of years when he got drafted. And I've been married 5 years, actually. And my great-grandmother came and stayed with my mom. Mom was a young school teacher, elementary school teacher, teaching in Memphis at Graves Elementary. And anyway, we called my great-grandmother Granny, and she hated Johnny Cash, despised the man, thought he was the devil himself. And mom said that was the only thing during the week that she enjoyed. Like, she goes, that's the only time I kind of relaxed and didn't think about your father, was when the Johnny Cash show came on. And she goes, and sometimes during the show, I would still worry and think about him the entire time.
Right.
But That was the one thing I looked forward to each week on television. And I would always try to set it up where Granny wouldn't be in the room because they only had one TV, like every household back then. And Granny would walk through the room like, I don't understand why you watching that trash. she used to call him Johnny Trash.
Wow.
Like, turn off that Johnny Trash. Which made me laugh. Because I never heard my great grandmother say anything negative. She passed away when I was like 9 or 10.
Right.
I never heard her say anything negative. She was always the sweetest lady. But when I found out she hated Johnny Cash, my grandfather on my father's side and all the other men in the family, we all love Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
My mama loved Johnny Cash. My kids love Johnny Cash. And I think it's hilarious that my great grandmother couldn't stand him, but never would have guessed that Johnny Cash did Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
It's the fun thing, Stephen. He obviously impressed a lot of people on the variety show, and they wanted to bring him on for that. But you want to hear some good music, and I'll post this on the page today, the Stingray Show page on Facebook. There is some great music on that Johnny Cash show CD. There was a CD they did, a record. They made it CD later, but there's tons of great music. Matter of fact, I bought mine off iTunes way back when we bought music, but that was one of the first purchases I bought. That is such a great CD. You should definitely listen to it, especially with beautiful weather this weekend. You'll enjoy it.
Heath, wrapping up the show and wrapping up the national history of today, we're going back and finishing up with what we are known for, sports. I'm just going to go on ahead because this is too vague to ask you, what did Nolan Ryan do on this day in 1983?
Probably throw a no-hitter. Hit his first home run.
This is mind-blowing, dude.
Is this when he got into a fight with Dave Winfield?
No, I don't think so.
Dave Winfield roughed him up, and Nolan said, I'll never be in that situation again. And then Robin Ventura charged the mound, and Nolan, cleaned house. But what did Nolan Ryan do at 83? He get traded?
Struck out his 3,500th batter. 3,500 batters he struck out on this day in 1983. That's a lot of strikeouts, man.
You sure that was 83? I was thinking that was 93.
It says right here 1983. Mm-hmm.
You know what? You're right, because he had over 5,000 Ks. He had over 5,000 strikeouts. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Dude, my gosh.
You know, the fancy word that baseball uses when they do a deep dive on numbers is saber matrix. And that's when you get WAR and slugging percent. WAR means win against replacement. Like, how many wins are we going to have to suffer if we have to replace this guy? It's like, oh, he's a +5. So if we lose him, we're going to lose 5 games and we don't have him. And so, you look at these kind of things. And, of course, baseball's all about their slugging percentages and WARs and you name it. If you look at the numbers of Nolan Ryan, this is so flabbergasting awesome. He was better in his 40s than he was at any other time in his career.
Right.
Like when he left the Houston Astros, when he was great, when he went to the Rangers and finished out his career, he put up some of his best numbers in his career in his 40s. It is absolutely mind-blowing. But he's the only pitcher that I can recall that got better with age. It's great. Young Nolan, a little inconsistent, and then super awesome, and then kind of dipped down to very, very, very good. And then at the end of his career, like, dude, he's pitching better than he's ever pitched in his life before. We have never seen that.
So, Heath, dude, we'll never see another pitcher like that, I don't think.
Oh, no. I mean, I don't think we'll ever see another Nolan Rod. I mean, Steven, here's the thing. You see all these kids now. Nolan Rod threw out his arm in his last start ever. He was getting to the end of the season. I think he had one more start left in his career. He already announced his retirement.
Right.
And he threw his arm out. They were playing Seattle. I want to say they were on the road in Seattle. And he still was bringing the ball up there at like 90 miles an hour with a torn UCL. No one's ever heard of that. And so anyway, you see these young college kids and they're having Tommy John surgery in college.
Yeah.
And they're doing this. You're seeing high school students have Tommy John surgery. You're seeing college kids have Tommy John surgery. You're seeing kids in their early to mid-20s have Tommy John surgery. And that's the surgery because you used your arm way too much. And then after they have the surgery, they usually come back better, and they only get to pitch for a couple of more years. Nolan Rod he blew out his arm at 44 years old. And could you imagine if he came back better? If he decided to do that rehab and come back better? It's crazy, but you don't see fastball pitchers stay more than like 5 years in Major League Baseball anymore. And this man did it for like 23 seasons. We'll never see that.
Heath, I don't think I could stand the constant pain that pitchers would have to go through later in life with shoulder and collarbone issues from throwing constantly. Don't think I could deal with that, man.
Yeah, elbow issues as well. Making fun of Nolan Rod, I'm not making fun of him because he's one of my favorite players of all time. Love the man.
Right.
But I'd just take a couple of Advil when I start feeling pain in my shoulder. I don't know if you remember that commercial or not.
Yeah.
And then he's throwing all these fastballs in the backyard, and then his wife pops up. His wife is like 5'2" and 98 pounds. And she's catching him, which was funny. She goes, and I take Advil too after the bullpen session. I'm like, what? There ain't no bullpen session.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a documentary on Nolan Rod, and his grandkids were making fun of his Advil commercials. Like, I'm Nolan Rod, buy some Advil. It was funny to see his grandkids make fun of him. But
it's always fun, dude.
Yeah, it is. I tell you, Steven, we will never see the likes of Nolan Rod. He will always on the record of no hitters.
Yeah.
He will always on the record of one hitters. He will always on the record of two hitters and also three hitters. And the 1, 2, and 3 hitters are considered low hitters.
Yeah.
But man, this guy, he's just a different breed. And I'll say this, Steven, when they clock pitchers now, on speed and velocity, like, oh man, this guy's throwing 100 and whatever. Nolan Ryan was always known as the fastest pitcher ever. Well, here's the catch. And I still believe Nolan Ryan is the fastest pitcher of all time. And this is why. Back in Nolan's day, when he threw it, they would time what the ball was doing when it crossed the plate. And he threw 102, 103 miles an hour. Now they time it when it releases from your hand. And people are like, oh, well, he threw like this. They worked the numbers. All the mathletes got together. All the nerds got together. They think Nolan Ryan was throwing between 108 and 112 miles an hour.
Off his arm. Yeah. Wow.
That is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about driving 100 miles down the interstate. I've done it multiple times. I don't want to admit it. I've done it multiple times.
I never have.
Yeah, well, that's that problem. There might have been a speeding ticket where I almost had to go to jail.
I don't want the popo on me, man.
Yeah, well, let's just say I graduated in '94, and the ticket was written for higher than what my graduation year was. It wasn't a good day. That was an expensive ticket, and insurance didn't go down either. But with that, 100 miles an hour. 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 It just blows my mind. You're driving 100 miles down the interstate, how fast you're going, and Nolan Ryan's baseball would be passing you
Right.
at a rate, a noticeable rate at 110, 112 miles an hour. Insane.
All right. So, Heath, this weekend we have incredible baseball. We also have week 4 of the UFL, the United Football League. The Stallions have their first home game of the season tomorrow at 3 p.m. And Heath, for any of you fans out there, this weekend is the grandest spectacular of them all, WrestleMania in Las Vegas. It is now a 2-night event, Saturday night and Sunday night. This weekend is going to be jam packed, full of excitement. Heath, what are you most looking forward to?
Not going to the ballpark this weekend, man. I've got so much. Dude, if I turn my computer around, I have some folded laundry and a bunch of unfolded laundry in this chair. I've got nothing but unfolded laundry in this chair. Sadly, my kids think their dirty clothes goes on the couch. That's not where that goes. The den's not dirty, but it is cluttered. The only thing of mine is I got a cap that I was wearing last night and a bag of pretzels that I forgot to put up last night. I came from the ballpark. I probably had like a dozen pretzels. I was like, you know what? I'm going to bed. I'm not. Yeah, I was starving. I was like, I'm not going to eat anything. If I eat something, I'm going to be awake, and I'm tired as it is. So I ate my pretzels, and then said, stop, you're going to bed. So that's the only thing in here in mine. But I have to clean this up. I got my yard looking great, Stephen. I cut it, weeded it the other day, fertilized it because they told me rain was coming. The rain has not come. We haven't had any rain. And it was supposed to come Wednesday. It didn't. It was supposed to come yesterday. It didn't. It was supposed to come overnight. It didn't. Now they're saying it's going to come. So they said last night, it was coming Saturday, and now they're saying we may not get it at all. And I had to fertilize my yard, which is going to kill it now. And I'm okay with that because I had some weeds. I did. But if it gets killed off, I'm just going to burn it. I'm going to burn it because come July 4th, I'm going to have the greenest, most full yard there is. So I'm okay if that fertilizer burns my yard up. I am.
Man, I tell you what.
And that would be awesome. So what am I doing this weekend? I'm cleaning this house, and I am catching up on paperwork. I bet you I'm going to work 9 to 14 hours doing paperwork tomorrow. I'll be breaking on my breaks. I'll be folding laundry. I'll be emptying the dishwasher and refilling it. I'll be putting loads in the laundry. Matter of fact, I put a load in the laundry before I started the show. I got to take that out, put that in the jar, and start another one. And fold all this. That's the thing, man. My kids, this is me ranting on my kids, Stephen. My teenagers, they got to have something washed, and they know how to work the washer and dryer. So they'll get their stuff, and and if you got stuff in the washing machine, they'll put it in the dryer. If there's something in the dryer, and this is where I get mad, they come and throw it in these 2 chairs here sitting to my right. And I'm like, some of that is your sister's clothes, some of that's some of your brother's clothes, some of that's my clothes and your mother's clothes. But they're not going to fold it. Oh, no. Nope, they're not going to fold it.
Right.
Well, I got some stuff in there. I took my stuff out and folded it. Yeah, you had like 3 shirts in there, and thank you for folding your 3 shirts. But what about the other 40 items that were in there? You know, when you're a family of 6, laundry never stops. It never stops.
Yeah.
And there's a coffee table behind my couch I'm looking at. I don't want to admit it. Those are my shirts. I bet you I have 15 shirts I got to go hang up. And I'll do it here after the show.
Yeah.
But my kids will just throw clean laundry, into chairs. Well, it's done on the floor. Just fold it. Just fold it. Okay, she says I don't help enough. And sometimes she's right. Kay. But Kay, I have found the secret recipe. It cost me $8.39 a day, but it is worth the piece. Stephen, you know what costs $8.39? My wife's Starbucks order. And I drop off the kids at school, and when I come back, I swing through Starbucks, and I bring it here to the house, and she is so happy that for $8.39, it keeps my mornings and most of my day peaceful, and I will pay $8.39 for every day the rest of my life if I have to.
Yeah.
If I'm going to bankruptcy court and completely broke, I will find a bum, punch him in the face, steal his money, and go buy $8.39 coffee at the Starbucks, so I can keep peace in my life and my marriage. So yeah, there you go. I get it's the same order every morning.
Right.
Same order every morning, and she's super happy. I still don't even know it. And hey, for you single men dating somebody or you married men, hey, look, it only took me 17 years to figure this out. Hopefully, you're smarter than me. Find out your wife's order. Just tell her, hey, I'm going to run by Starbucks. I don't drink coffee, so my wife knows I'm not running by Starbucks. She knows I'm doing it for her. I never get anything for myself. I don't get a muffin. I don't get squat. But text your wife, girlfriend, fiance, whoever. Hey, what's your go-to order at Starbucks? Hey, I'm running by Starbucks. What's your order? And then make notes of it. And then on her contact information in your phone, post her Starbucks order. Post it right there. And so whenever you're like, hey, she's having a bad morning, she's having a bad day. Oh, hey, I have her Starbucks order. And you come home with her favorite Starbucks without her asking or knowing that you're doing it. It turns out to be a good day for you. Sometimes a good night. So, hey, with that, I went there. So with that, is it worth $8.39? Abso-freaking-lutely, it's worth $8.39. So, yeah. So, guys, I'm telling you, that's my marriage tip of the year. That's the best one I got. It only took me 17 years to figure it out. I know, that's slow. But find your wife's Starbucks order. You know what else I got in there, Steven, underneath her Starbucks order? I got her dress size. I got her shoe size. I got her underwear size. I got this and that. So if I want to surprise her, come home with a pretty dress for her or some shoes, like if I hear her looking at shoes or talking about shoes or on the phone with her sister about shoes, like, let's see if I can't find her some shoes. And you know what usually happens? I'll look for 20 minutes and I can't find it, and I'll buy a gift card. Like, hey, here's you a gift card. Go get you some new shoes. So, but yeah. Sometimes I come home with a pretty dress. Like, oh, how'd you know it was my size? I did this not too long ago. I bought her a dress, and she goes, I love this dress, but it's not my size anymore. She's lost a lot of weight. And so I was like, well, you know what? Let's take it back and get it in your size. And we did. And she was very happy. So there you go.
And you know what else you need to keep down there underneath your list? All of those anniversary dates so you don't get put in the doghouse if you miss one.
Oh, man, I'm making bad jokes here. I might find dispensaries that are 24 hours, put that in there as well. So I'm joking. I tell you, man, marriage is crazy and it's insane, but it's wonderful at the same time. And I could not imagine my life without Julie.
Right.
I couldn't. I mean, last night's a perfect example. Had two games. I hate first games of the season. And it's not because of nerves and this and that. It's because I find out that I ran out of lineup cards, with 2 games last year, and I put them on notebook paper, and I go get my lineup cards the day of, and I'm out, and I completely forgot about it because at the end of the season, like, I'm not going to buy lineup cards right now because we're about to end the season. And then I'm like, man, I don't have any lineup cards. And then our league is terrible about uniforms, and you get them like the day of the game or the day before the game. So now I have to make out a lineup without a lineup card. And then someone's like, oh, they're going to be sick. Oh, so-and-so's got to play tonight. At school, they got a speaking part in the program. We can't be there. And I get all that. I'm okay with that. But you're like, okay, this person's out. I got to keep having this. So I got this. And now we got these uniforms. And, oh, these are the wrong sizes. And they didn't get us our hats. Or last night, one of my kids, they had everybody on the team had a hat. We had one extra. every kid on the team had a jersey except one. And I'm like, how did you send me 11 jerseys and 13 hats? And now I have to go explain it to the parents, and they're upset and they're mad, and I have nothing to do with it. And so I called the guy before I even told the parents, like, hey, do you know when this jersey can be in? And like, we had the jerseys made in Pakistan. I'm like, oh, great. We had them made in Pakistan, which means it's going to take a month to 6 weeks, and the season will be over before the kid's jersey gets here. And I have to tell the parents each week, like, jersey didn't come in. Have you heard from them? It's coming from Pakistan. That's all I know. And so, I mean, I don't know if they're using FedEx. I don't know what they're doing. I know there's a war next door, but, I can't help you. And so we're dealing with all that garbage. And then, and then you got people like, hey, who's got snacks tonight? Coach, can we do a snack list, Coach? What about music tonight? Coach, can we do this? Coach, can we do that? And I just want to play. Now, after the first game, I don't have to deal with any of this stuff anymore. But it's just the first game and getting things together. And but hey, props to the high-flying Flamingos, my 9-10U softball team. That's the first year of kid pitch. Everyone knows that's a nightmare. We got like a 10-2 win last night. Steve, I'm not going to lie. I didn't think the Flamingos were going to win a game this year. Mm-hmm. We won our first one, so I'm happy. And the team that we played, they had already played like 1 or 2 games. So I was like, oh, this team's going to kill us. They've already got a couple of games in, and we won. But then after that, my Space Cowboys team, where the kid didn't get his jersey, it's coming from Pakistan, and I got 13 hats. The Space Cowboys took on the Braves last night. We got them. I got a good team, Stephen. I don't know if I got a good team in softball, but I know I got a good team in baseball. 7-8 baseball. We're still in coach pitch, so it's not real baseball. If the coach tries to hit your bat, it's not real. And so yeah. But it was fun. The kids had fun last night. Got 2 wins. Came home and celebrated with some pretzels and went to bed with laundry all over my den.
Heath, we have started rambling now. It's fun, but I think we've gotten off topic, and I think that is going to wrap up this edition of the Stingray Show and this week of the Stingray Show. Hopefully, you guys will have a wonderful weekend with the UFL season in full swing, college baseball in full swing here in the SEC, and of course, WrestleMania out in Vegas. And also don't forget about NASCAR, as next weekend NASCAR goes to Dega. So we're going to be talking about that next week as well. So Heath, a lot of sports to unpack this weekend. And Heath, we will catch you on the Monday edition of the Stingray Show when we will recap everything. Have a wonderful weekend. And Heath, have a wonderful time this weekend in Hernando, Mississippi.
I don't know about wonderful time, but I'm definitely going to be here. And Stephen, I got to ask you this. Here's a fun question. So many things happen in the spring that we only get once a year. What's your favorite sporting event in the spring? We got Daytona, we got Talladega, we got the Preakness, we got the Kentucky Derby, we got the Masters, we got opening day of baseball, we got the Final Four, we got UFL starting, kicking off, we got the NFL draft, we got the NBA lottery. There's so many sports things that happen in the spring. Which one's your favorite?
WrestleMania.
There it is.
No doubt. No doubt.
Okay. I like your comment. I don't know if you see the third comment, Stephen. If you were not married, you would not know what you had done wrong. I don't need Google. I have a wife.
Yeah.
She knows everything. So, yeah. Hey, as I say on the show all the time, I've been wrong before. My wife tells me every day that I'm wrong.
Heath, I do have some disappointing news for you this week. And first off, let me ask this. Are you guys going to church on Sunday?
Yeah, I got to teach Sunday school. Mr. Johnny is up in Washington, D.C., our Sunday school teacher who listens to the show all the time. He usually listens to playing golf. He listens to yesterday's show. The next day he plays golf. But he's out of town in D.C., and I will be filling in. I got to teach Sunday school on Sunday. So, yeah.
Sunday morning, Hernando, Mississippi, 43 degrees. So wrap up the kids, my friend.
I'm wearing my shorts. I don't care. I'm gonna wear my shorts.
Dude, like you said, that is that last little bit of cold right after Easter. It's coming this weekend. It will be here for 2 mornings, and then we go right back into the warmth.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to get to 90 something here today, like 91,
Yes.
92, and then we have 43 Sunday.
Yeah.
If you don't like Memphis area weather, wait 20 minutes. It will change.
Yep. All right, Heath, we have gone 2 hours on this show.
Good
I
Lord.
think that will lead us into the weekend. Hopefully, you guys have thoroughly enjoyed it with all of us bantering, talking back and forth, and just having a blast like we do every day on the Stingray Show. Go and enjoy a fun weekend out there. And Heath, make sure you thank the good Lord that you're not in Tuscaloosa this weekend, as I will leave you with this. Guess what is happening tomorrow night at Bryant-Denny Stadium?
The British are coming. The British are coming. What?
Morgan Wallen in concert.
That'd be fun. I can't tell you when Morgan Wallen's song, but I know a lot of kids like them.
Dude, it is a madhouse here in Tuscaloosa.
I know a lot of middle school kids and high school kids love them some Morgan Wallen. So have fun. I hope they enjoy that.
Yes.
But you know what, Stephen? I said one cuss word earlier. I'm gonna try not to say it, but I gotta quote Hot Rod, Rowdy Roddy Piper, before we get out of here. To my laundry in the hallway and in the washing machine, I'm here to chew bubble gum and kick some booty, and I am all out of bubble gum. I'm going to be doing laundry while I'm doing my paperwork and making my life miserable. So, I got to get going on some of this. That was the one thing that kept my wife all upset this morning. I was like, man, I got to do this by myself. I don't want to do this by myself. Steven, I don't have back problems. My back starts to hurt when I fold laundry. I think it's just standing there. I'm not moving. Like my feet are planted.
Yeah.
Like I have to go get on my good shoes so my back doesn't hurt. Dude, I'm getting old. This sucks.
Yeah.
Laundry sucks. But you know what? It's Fried Bologna Friday. I had a fried bologna sandwich last week. I'm probably not getting one today.
Yeah.
But I'm probably not getting anything for lunch today. I might have a pizza. I don't know. But you know what? I got to go kick some butt on this laundry. So with that, sayonara. I'll see you tomorrow. No, I won't. I won't see you till Monday. So kick butt this weekend. Enjoy your weekend. I got to come up with something that rhymes with weekend. But hey, here you go, Stephen. Are you ready for this? I used to love telling this joke at the bank. It made everyone laugh. What rhymes with Friday? Margaritas.
Yes.
So enjoy your Friday.
Okay.
And have a great weekend. And you go to the Morgan Wallen concert?
I'm not. I will be at the Stallions game tomorrow with credentials.
Oh, look at you, man. Is Tom going to be in town?
No, it's actually on Fox, so Joel Klatt will be there.
I got you. All right.
Yeah.
We should get Tom on. We'll talk a little UFL.
Yeah. All right, man. Catch you on Monday, okay?
All right. And get extra salt for that margarita, Stephen.
And don't forget, you can't see me hosting WrestleMania this weekend, tomorrow night, and on Sunday.
Yeah, looking forward to it, and we'll see what happens.
Do you guys dream about owning a home or a condominium down on the beautiful beaches of Alabama, say Orange Beach, Gulf Shores, or maybe even Fairhope? Then let me tell you about First Class Real Estate South Home Group's owner, Celeste Hagler. She has brokers down there in the beautiful beaches of Alabama to help you purchase the home of your dreams and to live where you love in the state of Alabama. You can contact Celeste Hagler at 205-861-5698. Contact Celeste Hagler today to help you live where you love in the state of Alabama. Spring has sprung, and now is the perfect time to stock your lakes with fish such as bluegill, minnows, threadfin shad, and tilapia. If this is something you're interested in, make sure to call Honey Hole Fisheries and biologist Jeff Bagwell. He can be contacted at 205-799-0192. Once again, that is 205-799-0192. Jeff Bagwell and Honey Hole Fisheries also offers Texas Hunter products, including fish feeders. Now, if you're wondering about the population of your lake when it comes to fish, they also offer Shocking of Lakes to give you a full in-depth report on your lake with fish population. If you're interested, contact Honey Hole Fisheries once again at 205-799-0192. He will be happy to help you build the lake of your dreams. For over 100 years, the Bank of Moundville has been a name clients can trust. The Bank of Moundville is more than just a bank. They're your neighbors, your friends, and your community partners. Their unique approach to financial education has always centered around families. They believe that financially strong homes today lay the foundation for a brighter futures for tomorrow's generation. You can call them today at 205-371-2227. Once again, that is 371-2227 to schedule an appointment to build your financial security. The Bank of Moundville is a member FDIC and an equal housing lender. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Ferguson of South's Finest Meats, the official sponsor of the Stingray Show, has a message for you.
Everything we do here is fresh and custom made, custom to order. You know, I tell people when they come in, you know, if you don't see what you like, ask somebody. You know, we've got the capability to process it, make it. You know, if you want a different blend of hamburger meat, we'll do you a brisket blend. We'll do you a chuck blend. We'll do you a sirloin blend. You know, we do all that right here. We are a butcher shop. That's what we do. So please don't be afraid to ask if you don't see what you like. We can make you any size patty you want. We can make you any amount you want. You know, people call me and say, well, how many patties come in the box? Well, ma'am, how many would you like in a box? You know, you want 12, we'll put 12. You want 25, we'll put 25.
That's just one of the many things that South's Finest Meats has to offer, the official butcher shop of the Stingray Show.